Hi everyone, I thought I'd just jump into this video and give you some visual examples of what I mean by my 5 top tips that I included in my Facebook post. So these are for adapting templates and making the most of Convertree's templates and also making them work for you. So I've just kind of gathered these along the way, maybe seen what others have done and how I approach templates myself. So feel free to drop any of your own wisdom in the comments. It's always super appreciated for me and for all the other users. So I'm going to give examples using this sizzle template here, which is available to all our Convertree users. It's a template for a healthy cookbook, and I, as an example for this, changed it into a site that instead sells a golf swing book. So quite a different theme, different images, etc., etc. And I'm going to show you how I went about creating this page based on the original page. My first top tip is to not be afraid to delete something. This page that I have now published is considerably shorter than my original sizzle template. Some of this just wasn't applicable, and as much as the designers included it because it was really relevant to the original design, it doesn't mean it's relevant to me. And if I had been doing it, I just would have been filling gaps that didn't need to be filled with information that actually wasn't super relevant to my user. So I got rid of them and I really condensed it down into the site that I wanted, which was the reason that I chose the template. My next top tip is to make good use of our Pixabay API integration. So all of these images on this page were great on the template, but they actually weren't in any way relevant to my golf book that I decided to use this template for. So if I go here, you can see that I've just replaced these images. So I use the change image function in the general properties of the image that was used as the backing panel, and I just went into Pixabay and I searched things like golf or swing or different golf keywords, and I got a few images. I got one here and here, and it clearly changes the theme of the page completely from being about food to being about golf. So it was quick and easy because of that API integration, and all the images are royalty free. I don't have to worry about that. My next top tip is just about making the basic design work for you. As you make tweaks, you might need to change this in some way, but that basic design will work for you if given half a chance. So what I mean by this is, for example, one of the reasons I chose this template was I really, really loved this numbering to give points about my product. However, on the original template, if I go and look at it, this was on a super dark background. That white text was really, really easy to read. But when I changed my images out to be golf themed, you couldn't read this black text as well. So I simply just slipped in a panel behind it, adjusted the borders to be a bit more curved, and upped the opacity a bit so you could still see through it and you could still read my text. I got to keep that basic, core idea that I liked so much, but I made it work for me and how I want my page to look. Next up, we have checking out what has already been done for you. Our editors and designers are very clever people, and they do put in, layers and actions and events which are pre-installed onto a page to save you time. But sometimes it's not obvious that they're there. Like an action and event, you need to know where to click or what to do on a page to know where this is. So I recommend publishing at a dummy URL. So I did this for my healthy cooking page, for instance. I'm not going to use this. This was the original template. But I published it in a dummy URL just to see what it looks like live, and I had a click around and found that this button has an internal link to take them to my form at the bottom of my page. And this register now button activates a layer to get their full address to send them the book. So this functionality was already built in, but it was kind of hard to see in the editor without knowing what to look for. And now I know how my page works and how my user will flow through it. My final tip is don't be afraid to add something just because it wasn't there before. So our designers, like I just said, are clever people, but they don't know your product and they don't know your look and what you might want to have on your page. They're not the be all and end all, and neither is the template. So don't be afraid to make a few tweaks and add what works for you. So this was my original sizzle template, as we know, and if we go to my golf book template, you'll see there's two big things that are different here. I've moved this to the left because it fits much better with my golf image. The designer couldn't have known that that's what I would do with the template, and so I just kind of moved it to fit my needs. I also inserted this countdown timer here because my golf swing book is only going to be available for a limited time. And I want the user to know that. I want to add that urgency to the page to make sure that they click this register now button. So I wasn't afraid to add this. The designers didn't know that that's what I was selling, and so they didn't include it, right? But I did, and I feel that's really, really improved my appearance of my page. Okay guys, so that brings me to the end of my 5 top tips, which helped me to make this page here out of our Sizzle template. So like I said earlier, please drop in the comments anything that you guys like to do with templates, anything you think I've missed, or any wisdom that you think the group would benefit from, and I'll catch you guys around in the Facebook group.